Generating traffic and sales can be a challenge for online merchants. But selling on the Walmart Marketplace puts your products in front of millions of customers who shop on Walmart.com. And right now, sellers who join Walmart Marketplace can save up to 50% on referral and fulfillment fees for the first 90 days. So get started today. Head over to marketplace.walmart.com/savings. That's marketplace.walmart.com/savings.
Today's podcast is sponsored by SLI Systems, providers of intelligent site search and navigation solutions. Learn more at sli-systems.com and listen to their interviews at ecommercepodcast.com.
Your path to e-commerce success starts right here. You're listening to Practical E-commerce, the podcast for e-commerce results.
Okay, welcome back to another episode of Practical E-commerce Podcast. My name is Brian Getting, and this is our weekly podcast for the week of August 14th, 2006. This week we have a pretty fantastic interview with Mark Baartse, who Mitch Bettis had a chance to speak with. Mark is the creator and operator of shoppingcartreviews.com. The URL on that is shopping-cart-reviews.com. This is a great site for anyone who's looking for information or reviews about trying to find their first shopping cart, or if they're looking for a new shopping cart after switching from an old cart. This one has really, what it takes. This site has over 157 shopping carts highlighted on it, and most of them are software options. Some of them are hosted solutions, which will be added soon here. It sounds like Mark's going to be getting up to 300 carts on that site. So if you need advice about shopping carts or you want a side-by-side comparison, I highly recommend heading over to shoppingcartreviews.com. Like I said, Mitch Bettis had a chance to speak with him, and Mark has some pretty interesting things to say, so I'm going to go ahead and turn that over to Mitch for you.
Well, I suspect you get a considerable volume of questions through shoppingcartreview.com regarding shopping carts, perhaps from first-timers, as well as those who have been doing e-commerce for a while. What are some of the most common questions that you get from people looking for information about what cart to use for their site?
I find that people are just overwhelmed by the choice. They don't know what cart to use for their site. They don't even know where to start looking. There's just so many products out there that people just get confused and flustered, I guess, which is one of the reasons that I created my site in the first place. I was going through and trying to find a shopping cart for a client of mine, and it's just like, where do I even start here? And there's just so much information that's impossible to compare apples to apples, and people have so many different things they want to look at. And so, yeah, people are just thoroughly confused by the whole process.
The advice that you give to your individual customers or those that may inquire online, are there specific things? Is there a way to counsel people in general on shopping carts, or are there, in general, their sites are so unique that it's almost impossible to provide kind of a blanket piece of advice for everyone?
Yeah, I mean, as I was saying earlier, there's no one perfect shopping cart. There's not, I can't say this is the shopping cart and everyone should use it. It's just not that way. There's a different thing for everyone. I mean, these sorts of problems have been around in the software industry for a long time, but, people want specific software for their business. And there's a whole area of the software business that covers that. It's business analysis and functional requirements and all that sort of stuff. Now, unfortunately, a lot of e-commerce sites don't have the budget to hire a business analyst or to go through that whole extensive process and to have a formal project manager and that sort of thing. It's a matter of going through and doing that as best you can by yourself and going through and just having a really deep think about what it is that you want to do, and don't make assumptions. The number one problem I see is people saying, oh, well, I assumed it could do that. And as soon as you assume, then you're opening up a lot of problems. So I do have an article on my site somewhere, I think, which goes through and kind of gives you some pointers to the sort of things you should be thinking about. But it's not comprehensive, because at the end of the day, you'll have requirements which I've never dreamed up.
Well, and then let's talk about shoppingcartreview.com. If somebody's not visited that site, can you give them a brief overview of what they can see? And then I believe there is a redesign in the works. Maybe tell them what they can see now and what they'll be able to see here pretty soon.
Yep. So the site allows you to go through and basically say, I want a shopping cart that is, under $500 and allows me to, has a gift coupon function and runs on PHP, and then it will search and will show you all the carts on the market that are available with those requirements. And a lot of carts, particularly the more popular ones, have got customer reviews on them, and so you can read the experience of people who have actually used it, because you can read the marketing material and the specs and stuff like that, but at the end of the day it's how it behaves for the people in the trenches, which is the really important thing. And so you get the reviews, and there's the good, the bad and the ugly up there, and people giving their honest opinions. And so it's a great way to narrow your selection. I wouldn't expect that you would make a final decision on a shopping cart based on my site, but it's a great way to get down to a short list, to get I've got, I think, 157 products up there, and, it's not possible for anyone to look through all 157 products by themselves, and so you might be able to go through my site and use your understanding and get it down to a list of maybe 2 or 3 good ones and do a really deep examination on them. And as you mentioned, I do have a new version coming up, and that's going to be covering a lot of information about ones where you pay a monthly fee. You pay $50 a month. Yahoo Stores is the best known one, but it's by a long stretch not the only one out there. And we'll provide similar facilities for that, and also providing information on e-commerce gateways, because most people who are launching a new e-commerce site, or possibly even going and relaunching something or making some changes, are normally after a gateway to accept credit card payments. And that's a similar situation again, where there's about 100 e-commerce gateways out there, and it's very hard to know what's what and to compare apples with apples. And so I help people to do that as well in the new version, which will be coming out within a few months.
After the hosted solutions are added to the list of non-hosted solutions, do you have an estimate of how many shopping carts alone will be kind of collected in this one resource?
Yeah, it'll be somewhere in the ballpark of 250, maybe 300. There's a lot of smaller hosted solutions out there, which I suspect will come out of the woodwork. So I think I'll be having roughly 100 at launch. But then I expect a lot of people to say, hey, how about me, how about me? And, if you're out there and you've got a hosted solution and I'm not listing you, by all means, go to the site. There's a way you can contact me and request that your site is included, and that will be done so.
And you mentioned in your example earlier this was just an example of if you're looking to spend $500 with these other various items you're looking for, but there are carts on your list that fit various price ranges, from those in the open source free realm all the way up. Is that correct?
That's right, yeah. We have quite a few free carts listed on the site. I think there's maybe 20 or 30, the most popular of which and the best known of which are OS Commerce and ZenCart, which are both extremely popular products.
Is there any other things you want to add about shopping carts in general and how people ought to proceed as they approach this kind of critical function of their site?
It can be pretty tricky for someone, particularly if you've got a non-technical background. I think you need to be really careful about the free shopping carts. A lot of people get lulled into that because, of course, it's free, and that has a lot of appeal to it. And some of the free shopping carts, they're good products. There's no doubt about that. But don't make your decision just for the sake of saving $300 or $400, because you're going to be stuck with this product for a long time. It's a lot of work to shift from one product to another product if you realize you've made the wrong decision. And all for the sake of saving $300 or $400, the potential loss in sales of having the wrong product because you can't create the right experience for your customers, you'll lose that $300 or $400 many times over. So invest the time up front, choose the right product, and don't be scared to spend a bit of money if you have to.
And that's going to go ahead and wrap up our weekly podcast for the week of August 14th. My name is Brian Getting, and don't forget to check our website at www.practicalecommerce.com. We release new content every week now and to match these podcasts, so definitely go on there and take a peek. And also don't forget about our community forum giveaway. Every month we're giving a $100 Amazon.com gift certificate away to people. So participate in our community forum, and you got a chance at winning. We'll see you next week.